This is Talia. She's got a good voice, but like a lot of artists, she has no idea how to make it sound radio ready. That's where I come in. Today I'm going to walk you through the exact steps it took to transform her raw vocals into the polished sound that you just heard. After I mix it, I'll send it over to her and get her real-time reaction of what she thinks of the results. Hey, what'd you think of the track? Welcome to Vocal Rescue. So here's a snippet of the song that we're working with. I wanted to show you it raw, no effects. On this recording, we used a WA-87. We recorded it in my studio here, which has tons of acoustic treatment, so it sounds really dry. That will be really important when we begin adding effects. I should also mention that this recording sounds really good because we had a good singer record onto it. That's probably the most important part of this entire process. But even good singers in good rooms with good microphones can be improved, and that's what I'm going to show you here today. And right off the bat, I'm hearing on this lead vocal three main problems that I think we can fix that will make it sound even better. And after we fix those three main problems, there are two other things that I think we could add for the cherry on top to really make this sound like a polished record. Let's tackle them one by one. Starting with the first problem. Let me play you this snippet of vocal and see if you can identify the problem for yourself. This first problem has to do with dynamics. If you guessed that the voice was getting drowned out by this backing track when it comes to this part right here, then you are absolutely correct. Now typically you would affect the gain in this way by going in here, adding a gain plugin, going into here, going into gain automation, and then adding in some points and then manually turning up the automation. This is fine, you can do it this way, but I've actually come up with a way that will automatically level this for us. That way comes from a plugin that I've developed myself called Magic Ride that is designed specifically to help vocals stick out in a mix when it gets buried like this. Check it out. You can see on this louder part here, it's actually turning it down. And then on this part here, it's turning it up so that it more matches the target level that I've set here. It's super convenient, and this is going to make our compression so much easier later on. What's also cool about this plugin is that it will automatically reduce breaths if we choose it to. Take this breath knob. How could you know just what I wanted? You gave me motion. Left me a shit. Already sounds almost instantly better with Magic Ride. Let's go. But now let's tackle problem 2, which is the tone. This is a little bit harder to hear, but I'm going to play a snippet of this vocal and see if you can identify where we might be able to change the tone for the better. Mine's dirty dance, somebody's tangled on the floor, and if I'm being honest. What I heard was a slight overabundance of mid-range tones. This is very common with the WA-87. It is very mid-range forward in my mind. That is around the 750, maybe 1200 hertz mark. We take a little bit of a dip there and then add in some subtle compression. It's going to sound way more like a polished record. But you actually don't need to know that this is a mid-range forward vocal to get a different tone. You can start experimenting with it on your own. My favorite way to experiment with it is just to go through some of the presets that I've created. This is already sounding pretty close to what I want. So I'll go into my main preset pack, I'll go into clean and natural, and I'll go through some of these settings here till I find one that fits the voice well. How could you know just what I want? Sure, mine's dirty dance, somebody's tangled on the floor. I wanted, you gave me motion. So I like the way that this one sounds. Transparent, window painting. But let's hear what this is sounding like without the delay, the reverb, or the limiter at the end. Used to be so bored till you watched up on my shore. Mine's dirty. You can hear that it's getting rid of some of that mid-range, but it's more of the 500 hertz range. I think that it was needing more of a dip in the middle. Used to be so bored till you watched up on my shore. Mine's dirty dance, somebody's tangled on the floor, and if I'm being honest. Then we'll go into these compressors and make sure that they're hitting it correctly. Let's dial in the threshold till we're getting at about -5. Pretty good. Check this other compressor. Used to be so bored till you watched up on my shore. A bit too much. Let's change it to a studio FET as well. It's probably my favorite compressor to use on vocals.
watch the bum shore. Mind's dirty dancing, bodies tangled on the floor. Motion.
I have an overdrive plugin, it looks like, as well, adding a little bit of harmonic information. I like that. Let's hear the difference between before and after with all of these first set of plugins added.
Left me a shipwreck of emotions. You love being captain on my oceans, and I'll fire that's still in my...
I think it sounds more professional, it sounds more polished, and it just has that sheen that it didn't have before. And that leads me into the third problem that I'm hearing on this lead vocal, and I'm wondering if you can identify what it is. Specifically, take a listen to the backing track and the difference between the lead vocal.
Used to be so bored till you watch the bum shore. Mind's dirty dancing, bodies tangled on the floor. And if I'm being honest,
Were you able to hear it? In my opinion, the vocal sounds way too dry. It's not a problem at all to have an especially dry vocal. The drier a vocal, the more forward it sits in the mix. But in my opinion, it's going to blend a lot better to this backing track that we have if we add a little bit of reverb. Let's just turn on the reverb and the delay that came with the preset that we added and see what it sounds like.
used to be so bored till you watch the bum shore. Mind's dirty dancing, bodies tangled on the floor. And if I'm being honest,
Already sitting way better, I think. I have this adaptive limiter at the end here just to catch any extra peaks to make sure that you absolutely don't clip, but I'm gonna get rid of it for this case because we're already pretty compressed as is. Those were the three main problems I was hearing with that vocal lead. A lack of dynamic consistency in the vocal itself, a bit of a tone problem with too much mid-range forward, and three, the dryness of the vocal overall. But after addressing it, it's sounding much better. But now there are two extra things that we can add to this vocal to make it sound even more professional. And the first one is actually another problem that we can solve. Check out what this chorus sounds like right now. The backing instrumental gets louder, but there's not a whole lot different going on with the vocal. The problem is the chorus feels too small. And one of the best ways to change this is probably something that you've been looking at the screen this entire video and wondering, when's he gonna turn them on? And the answer is right now. We're gonna add some doubles and triples and harmonies to the chorus to make it feel wider, more impactful, and give it so much more depth. Now, to keep things easy for myself, I'm gonna copy the channel strip settings I have here. I'm gonna select all of the other voices that I have, and I'm going to just give this basic processing. That way they're not completely dry. They have a little bit of the same vibe as the original vocal. Actually, to keep things easier, I'm gonna get rid of all of the delays here, all of the reverbs. I'm going to buzz every single one of these that aren't the lead to their own track stack. I'm going to use my own reverb here, and we'll adjust it as we want to. And one of the things that's going to help us the most with these doubles and triples is panning them left and right. Anytime I have a double and triple, I like to just add that width by going full left, full right. Seems a bit harsh for me up top, so I'm going to take this and turn down this 8K up here so that the lead vocal sticks out even more. I'll go through the rest of these doubles and triples and add in what I think works. And after adjusting the mix a bit more with all of the doubles and triples, it's time to add the final cherry on top, the last problem that we're going to address. And that problem is the mix is a bit boring. One of the best ways to combat boringness in a mix is to automate some features to evolve over time. One of my favorite things to automate is reverb and delay throws. Let me point out one specific part where I think it would sound really good.
but baby, you gotta remember
I think it would sound really cool if I had this part, have some echo at the end, and have some reverb. But I don't necessarily want that reverb on this first part here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna automate the wet of the reverb right up. And the easiest way to do this is to click here, click latch, and then just drag this knob up as it's playing.
but baby, you gotta remember
Let's do the same thing for the Space Designer.
but baby, you gotta remember
I'm gonna go through and automate the vocal with some other points that I think would be really cool, and then I'll show you the final product.
don't belong.
Let me play you the final result. Keep in mind, if you got some headphones, these doubles are gonna sound, they're gonna wrap around your head. They're gonna sound crazy. If you're listening to it on a phone, it'll be less impactful. But it'll still sound cool.
But baby, you gotta remember you need me, and I don't need a goddamn, don't need a goddamn thing. We belong on it.
And now that the song was mixed, it was time for me to get Talia's reaction to what the track sounded like. So I called her up. I also didn't let her know that this was happening. She has no idea that's going to be the video.
Talia?
So yeah. Hey, what'd you think of the track?
I liked it.
You liked it? Any other comments about it? She loved it. Mission accomplished. Vocal rescue. Actually, I mean, she didn't seem overly excited about it, but that's totally fine. I'm still counting this as a win. Hit the logo sting. Vocal rescue. You can check out more of Talia's stuff and her socials in the description below. But now I want to do this for you. I know that there's a ton of you that are sitting on some great songs where the vocals just aren't hitting right. And I'm looking for the next artist to feature on this channel. If you want your track to be considered for the show, click the link below to apply for a vocal rescue. You can only pick one artist per episode, so send over something good. But if you want to fix your mix right now and use some of the same tools that I did, you can go check those out on my website, Vocal Writer, and Vocal Magic, the complete preset pack. If you're not quite ready for the complete preset pack, I also have a free preset pack that comes with 10 presets so you can dip your toes in the water. I'm looking forward to hearing those submissions, and I'll see you in the next one.